Everyone loves a good old-fashioned game night, but when it comes to playing Monopoly, we usually end up hating our friends by the end of the game. And that's partially because the game lasts way too long. So this video is going to teach you how to play Monopoly in under 30 minutes. In this video, I'll teach you how to speed up the game, but I assume that you already know the basics of how to play. My first tip is to draw a question mark on the back of all the chance cards, and a CC on the back of all the community chest cards. Although this might sound silly to do, people always seem to forget which one is which during the game. Now take all that fake money that comes with the game and toss it out the window. We're not going to use any of it. We're going to use poker chips instead, which are much more efficient. Those fake bills are always hard to count because they stick together and there's never enough of them and they always get lost. But poker chips are really easy to count and pick up, and they're fun to toss across the table when you have to pay a debt. It's also much easier to see how much money your opponents have, which is a big part of the game. In this example, it's hard for me to estimate how much cash is on the table. However, with the poker chips, I can easily see that there's exactly $585, as there are 5 black chips worth $100 each, 3 green chips worth $25 each, and 2 red chips worth $5. Since Monopoly is an all-or-nothing type of game, the singles have absolutely no impact on who wins or loses. They really just slow things down. So to speed things up, 5 is the lowest denomination I use, and we round all payments to the nearest 5. So rent for this property would be rounded up to $30. However, rent on this property would be rounded down to $20. The next tip is to remove all the house rules that bring extra money into the game. The more money that's available, the longer it will take for everyone to go bankrupt and for one person to win. Many people play with the snake eyes rule. If you roll 2 ones, you get 1 of every denomination of cash. That's not a real rule in the game. You also don't win any money for landing on free parking. That's just another way to prolong the game. Now let's talk about tips to speed up the actual gameplay. For the first bunch of turns, when nobody owns any monopolies yet, the player should roll and then announce whether they're going to buy the property they landed on or not. If they are going to buy it, they should help themselves to the property and pay the bank. There's no need for a banker. The second player should begin rolling the dice immediately and not wait for the first person to buy their property. The only time a player should wait to begin their turn is if the prior player decides not to buy the property and it goes up for auction. You also need to wait if the current player owns at least 1 monopoly, as they might choose to buy some hotels or houses at that time. In the standard game, when a player passes go, they get $200. However, to speed things up, once all the properties are sold, cut that in half and only give $100 per player. The next tip is to allow players to buy mortgaged properties if they land on them for 10% above the mortgage price. But when they buy them, they get them unmortgaged. This will speed up how quickly people get monopolies and how quickly the game ends. And the most important tip of the game is to know when to give up. There is no need to play to the bitter end. If one player has a bunch of monopolies and hotels and no one else has any, you should probably just give up and start a new game. And that's how to play Monopoly in under 30 minutes.